Yeah, guys, 2 videos in just a few weeks, which begs the question, am I back? No, not really. But you guys showed me so much love in the comments of the last video. I was moved. You guys moved me somewhere very deep inside where perhaps some semblance of a soul still persists. And that is why today I'm going to give you my thoughts on the final episode of Squid Game's 2nd season. Though, if you haven't watched my breakdown of the full season yet, you should probably cut out of this video now and watch that one first so you understand how I infer the show's themes generally. I don't blame you for wanting a deep dive into episode 7, by the way. Things took a dark turn in the finale, and all plot points swiftly crescendoed into mass bloodshed, and where there's death, there's probably meaning. Unless you're a Russian novelist. Towards the end of episode 6, after the vote to continue or stop the game ended in a tie, an old Donnybrook started up in the arena bathroom between the players on the X team, or those who want to quit the game, and the players on the O team, or those who want to stay in and win all the monies. Sorry, YouTube, I can't show you the uncensored melee, but take my word for it, lots of people died. Then we start episode 7 with the battered and beleaguered players who survived the bathroom brawl returning to the player assembly area as the other players look on aghast. While most of the players are quite mystified, Gi-hun is not, because he knows this inevitable arc of the game all too well. Last time around, Gi-hun experienced the same, the point at which the players descend into utter violence, turn on each other, and start killing each other outside the confines of the games in order to survive. Now, Gi-hun's side, the X's, actually lost less people in the bathroom fight, potentially giving them a leg up, or actually a full body up, in the revote the next day.
우리 쪽은 2명 죽었어요.
5명 중에 2명이 우리면 저쪽이 3명 죽은 거네요.
Gi-hun doesn't look relieved, though. He can't stop looking over to the O's side, visibly wary and troubled. Why? Well, because he knows that despite the outcome of the bathroom fight that saw the X's left with a numbers advantage, that doom is nigh upon the arena.
근데 괜찮을까요? 아까 화장실에서 진짜 장난 아니었다는데.
불이 꺼지면 저쪽에서 우리를 공격할 겁니다.
The violence to come at the fall of dark is no mere unfortunate happenstance. It's a feature of the game. We see prior to lights out in the player barracks that the guards are called to assemble for a special game. This is a stark reminder that there is no exit from the game. The game is everywhere. The elites are toying with the entirety of society. Even to quit the game is to remain in the game, just a different facet of it. The game's masters don't care if the players slaughter each other. As a matter of fact, the VIPs are betting on that too. The guards are just the peasants who are hired to kill the other peasants. The guards are, to some degree, though this dynamic hasn't been fully uncovered yet, playthings of the elites just the same as the players are. They can be used as cannon fodder just as the players can, then can be killed off. Their lives mean nothing, and yes, the VIPs are probably also betting on whether the guards live or die. Isn't it interesting that when soldier number 11, Kang No-ul, disobeys orders and disrupts the organ trade internal to the game, that the higher-ups don't really seem to care? I don't know exactly how yet, but this too is just a reflection of the breadth of the game. It's everywhere. Think back to the locker room brawl as well. The players from both the X and O factions were allowed to gather in the same bathroom together. And this following the first time there was a vote and the O's didn't win. There was no fork in the hallway separating the paths of the two sides. Well, I mean, there were forks separating things, I suppose, but not paths. The brawl was just another design of the game. It still involves players turning on one another and killing each other in desperation to survive, all for the entertainment and profit of the elites. And Gi-hun now recognizes this. That is why when the frontman, Hwang In-ho, undercover in the game as player 1, tries to promote the coming bloodbath between the X's and O's.
그럼 어떻게 해요?
우리가 먼저 공격하죠.
Gi-hun interjects, imploring his compatriots not to kill each other, but instead to turn on the elites or the game masters.
그렇다고 우리끼리 서로 죽고 죽일 수는 없습니다. 그게 바로 그놈들이 원하는 겁니다.
그놈들?
이 게임을 만든 놈들, 그리고 우리가 이 게임을 하는 걸 지켜보는 놈들. 우리가 싸워야 한다면 그놈들과 싸워야 합니다.
Gi-hun disagrees with Hwang and-ho because he understands now the nature of the game. We've discussed in other videos how Gi-hun is inured to the rules of the game. Like a dog to a bell, he knows subconsciously that by following the rules the elite set for the players, he has his best chance of surviving. That's why Gi-hun acquiesces to the recruiter's entreaty to play a deadly game of Russian roulette with him, rather than simply take the gun and shoot the recruiter when it's his turn to chance fate. He won the game last time and got out by following the rules. But now he realizes there is no getting out of the game. The game is omnipresent, as constructed by the elites to control all of society. Thus, the people, the proles, are going to suffer and die as long as the game persists. But actually, there is one way of escaping the game, right?
이제 우린 저 계단 위에 있는 가면 쓴 놈들의 본부로 가려고 합니다. 우린 이곳을 가둔 놈들을 잡아서 이 게임을 끝내고 그 죄값을 치르게 할 겁니다.
Kill the masters of it. Bring down the elites and with it, the system itself, and then rebuild society free of its former pitfalls. Gi-hun is resigned to the fact that people are going to die no matter what. He no longer trusts the system. He's broken his subconscious obedience to it. Beating the individual games within the arena serves no purpose but to enable temporary survival, and participating in them feeds into the market that drives the system by providing entertainment and further control to the VIPs and game masters. There is no other option but to attack the game masters, even if such is a suicide mission.
총을 몇 자를 뺏는다고 해도 저쪽에 우리보다 숫자도 많을 거고.
그렇다고 여기서 밤새 서로 죽고 죽이면서 나만 살아남길 바랄 겁니까?
Gi-hun's plan to take down the overseers is singularly discomfiting to us because through all the despair and horrors inherent to the game, he always maintains his humanity and preserves life. Not just his own, but that of others. And now he seems eager to sacrifice the lives of some players to accomplish his goal.
싸움이 끝날 때까지 참고 기다려야 합니다.
아니, 그러면 우리 X 쪽이 많이 불리할 것 같은데.
하지만 우리가 싸움에 끼어들었다가 우리 중에 몇 명이 죽거나 다치기라도 하면 계획이 다 틀어질 겁니다.
That said, it's not as though Gi-hun has lost his humanity and is now mad with bloodlust. The show doesn't want us to think that. It even goes out of its way to establish that Gi-hun retains his humanity throughout the uprising.
우리가 이러자고 총을 뺏은 게 아닙니다. 이러면 우리도 저 가면 쓴 놈들과 다를 게 없어요.
His rebellious fervor is simply a product of awakening, an intellectual reconciling with the fact that the only way out of the game is to destroy it even at the cost of life. What he doesn't realize, though, as I discussed in my previous video, is that he is still subconsciously faithful in the integrity of the game. He doesn't even think for a second that actually the game masters will cheat when necessary. He thus organizes his uprising with a mole in his midst, a very game master at his side who can now easily subvert his plan.
대의를 위해서 작은 희생은 감수하자는 건가요?
이번 기회를 놓치면 더 큰 희생을 치르게 될 겁니다. 지금 희생을 치르더라도 이번에 반드시 이 게임을 끝내야 합니다.
그렇다면 전 기훈 씨 뜻에 따르겠습니다.
While the frontman tried to push the X's towards engaging in the Midnight Murder Fest, he fairly quickly assents to Gi-hun's mutinous machinations. Elites, the arbiters of the system, love it when peasants buy into the idea that it is worthy to sacrifice lives for the greater good. This is, after all, the very reasoning they often tout to justify their malevolent actions. They'll kill for profit, for pleasure, and to prevent attempts to overthrow the system, and they will defend their homicidal deeds to the masses by telling them they acted in the name of the greater good. Actually, Gi-hun's very insurrection, as I'm sure the frontman well recognizes, provides the perfect opportunity, and An even better opportunity than the Night Brawl for the Game Masters to kill off the leading voices among the X's, restore order, and perpetuate the game. Let's one more time think back to the scene in episode 2 when Gi-hoon is in the frontman's limo.
너도 네가 이 세상을 바꿀 수 있는 영웅이라고 생각하는 건가?
내가 보여줄게. 세상이 너희들이 원하는 대로만 움직이진 않는다는 걸.
As I said last video, the elites love the system, and they constantly importune the masses with propaganda designed to make them lose hope and come to believe that the system and rules in place are what's best for them, to accept that human nature is evil and thus people need to be controlled, and sometimes killed for the greater good of order and the maintenance of the system itself. And so given that Gi-hoon's rebellion failed, heading into season 3, we are left to wonder whether it is indeed possible to escape the game at all. And I don't mean the games. We've seen the players quit the game and get out safely before, though they ended up returning to it of their own volition. I mean the wider game, that which cannot be escaped unless it is broken. And on that positive note, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it, but in either case, I'm just glad you showed up. Congo is too. And we await your comments down below. For now, my name is American Ben, and I'll catch you next time. Toodles.